Hello book people, welcome back to my channel, and today I'm starting a new series on my channel titled Books By, where we talk about books by certain authors. So as you may know, that there is a little scene change, and I just decided I was going to spice things up a little bit, sometimes film in my bedroom, sometimes film in the book room, you know. And plus there's better natural lighting in here. I don't need the glare from my ring light because the way that my books are set up in my office, the window is facing me, so I get all that glare. But anyway, that's besides the point. Today, we are going to be talking about one of my favorite authors to kick off this new series that I've had in mind, and that is Wendy Walker. So I discovered Wendy Walker when I first started wanting to review books, and I decided to ask for my first review copy. This was whenever I had my book blog and wasn't really on BookTube and whatnot. And the first ever advanced reader copy that I got was a Wendy Walker book, which is All Is Not Forgotten. So ever since then, I have really loved Wendy Walker, and all three of her books I have received for advanced copies or for review, and I have not been happier because she has become one of my favorite thriller writers of all time. So I thought it only fitting that I start out by talking about her and her three books. So like I said, I did receive all of these books for review, and so you can see my reviews on Goodreads for them, but the whole purpose of this video is to tell you guys a little bit about each of her books, which ones are my favorites, which ones I would recommend, whatnot. So if you guys have more recommendations for authors that I should do for this little mini series that I started, please leave them down in the comments below. If not, I have a list that I am making ready, so hopefully you guys will stick around for the next installments. But let's just get into the Wendy Walker book, shall we? So I'm going to go in order of which ones I read first to last, so publication order as well, and I will just tell you guys what they are about and what I liked about them or did not like about them, and then at the end I will rate them in my favorite to least favorite order and tell you guys which ones I think you should read for sure. So most fittingly, we are going to be talking about All Is Not Forgotten first. Like I said, this is the first ARC that I ever received, so it is near and dear to me, and this is the first book that Wendy Walker published. So in this book, we follow our main character, Jenny Kramer, and she ends up being attacked in her small town one night, and this just kind of messes her up. But luckily, her parents decide to give her a memory-losing medication that will help her kind of cope with the trauma. However, as the months pass, she starts to get these emotions that she can't place with a memory, and she is not coping as well as her parents thought. So they seek out a therapist for her to talk to and maybe try to trudge back the memories to help her actually cope. And we follow her kind of re-remembering things and trying to understand what happened that night, and hopefully, you know, not necessarily forgive and forget, but just place those emotions where they should be placed. We also follow the therapist's perspective in this book, which I really liked. So what I really liked about this book was Wendy Walker's writing style. Right off the bat intrigued me, and I thought that she had a very well-paced writing style that really worked with a thriller novel. I also thought that her plot in this book was very unique and really well done for a thriller, and it kept me on the edge of my seat the whole time, and I could not put this book down. I also really enjoyed, like I said, the therapist's perspective in this. I thought that that was something that we don't see a whole lot in books, and I really enjoyed that because it just placed a different perspective than just our victim or even our murderer or whatever in thriller books, so I really enjoyed that. As well, this plot twist was freaking great. So if you are a thriller person who likes plot twists, then this one definitely made me go, what? I will give you a trigger warning for sexual abuse and rape, so if that is something that you are a little hesitant with, maybe go into this carefully. but this is definitely more of a psychological thriller. It is not like surrounding murder or anything, or like a whodunit. So if that is also more of your style, then this one is for you. Wendy Walker's next book that I received and that she published was Emma in the Night, and this one came out about a year after All Is Not Forgotten, and when I got it in the mail, I was equally as excited because I was really looking forward to this publication. So this book revolves around two sisters that 3 years prior had went missing, and then it is now 3 years in the future, and one of the sisters come back without the other. Through this novel, we are learning through the sister Cass, who did return, what happened to them those 3 years ago and where exactly her sister Emma is. And boy, was this a journey. Obviously, again, I super enjoyed the writing style because that is something that Wendy Walker definitely has down pat. And again, the plot was really good for a thriller novel and very different from her first novel, which I appreciated because I think sometimes authors have this problem where they get into like a similar style and a similar plot basis, especially with thrillers, but she did not do that. She definitely took this in a different route and a different plot base. I really enjoyed that the pace was again fast, and the plot twist and Cass as a character were all really cool, and obviously I like an unreliable narrator, and Cass is definitely that. Because obviously she's been through trauma, because she's been missing for 3 years. Who wouldn't have trauma, right? And so obviously she might not be in the best mental state. But this one is, again, probably more psychological with some domestic elements. So if that is for you, then this one is also for you. And then most recently, Wendy Walker came out with a book in May of this year, and that was The Night Before. And I was super, super excited to get this one again because I just can't believe that I have been graced with all 3 Wendy Walkers as advanced reader copies. But this one was probably my least favorite of the 3. This follows our main character, Laura, who has fled her old life and is now living with her sister, Rosie, and she came out of a bad breakup and is just kind of trying to find her way again. And so she decides one night to go out on a blind date, and after that date she does not return, which leaves her sister in a panic and wondering where she is. So in this novel we follow dual perspectives of what happened that night and then following the night with Rosie trying to find her sister. Again, I'll say it, writing style was great. I thought that the plot had a decent premise, and I really liked the sister development in this book and getting to understand both sides. Obviously, we have that sister element that was present in Emma in the Night, so there was that lack of unique plot that completely switched, like I had mentioned, between All Is Not Forgotten and Emma in the Night. But I think that she was going with an interesting plot development throughout the book. However, I really didn't like the plot twist in this one. I thought it was a little unrealistic, and the extra characters in the book besides our main 3 were unlikable in my opinion. So when it comes down to elements of the story that I disliked, those were the biggest 2, and ultimately what made me give this a lower rating than a 5-star. If you liked her other books, I would give this one a try, but maybe this shouldn't be your first Wendy Walker. That's just my opinion. So what I ended up giving these books, I gave the first 2 5 out of 5 stars. They're some of my favorite thrillers of all time. And then I gave The Night Before a 4 out of 5 star. It just lacked for me from what I have been expecting from a Wendy Walker novel, but it was still enjoyable. And again, the writing style really bumped that rating up because I really, really enjoy her writing style. If I had to rank these books in order of my most favorite to least favorite, they would go in publication order. So All Is Not Forgotten is my ultimate favorite of these 3, and then Emma in the Night, and then last but not least, The Night Before. I would definitely recommend you give Wendy Walker a try if you like authors like Shari Lapena, Ruth Ware, or Riley Sager. I think that she fits in definitely with those more popular authors, and I am hoping to be able to talk about those authors in future installments of this series. But like I said, I wanted to start with a favorite of mine because she holds near and dear to my heart. So if you're thinking about picking up a Wendy Walker book, or all 3 of them, I definitely think that you should. I do highly recommend them, and if you are stuck with which one you should pick up first, then my go-to pick would be All Is Not Forgotten. I think this was very strong, very unique, and I might be a little biased, but this was just a really good thriller, and nothing has been able to compared to this exactly, since I've read this in 2016. So definitely would recommend. So have you guys read Wendy Walker before, or do you guys agree with how I rated my books? Let me know in the comments below your opinions on her, or like I said, any other authors you would like me to do in this series. I am more focusing on thriller writers right now because they tend to release books faster than say fantasy writers or whatnot, especially when they are in series. So like I said, just let me know in the comments. But if you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button if you are excited to see more of this series in the future, or some of my other videos like my vlogs and book tags and whatnot. But thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this, and I cannot wait to see you guys in my next video. Bye!